Ever imagine what it takes to keep those giant paper rolls at the mill,
Yeah.
pristine? Or how sawmills make sure every plank of wood is perfectly cut.
Huh. Yeah.
Turns out catching tiny flaws, like before they become big problems, is a massive undertaking. You've asked us to deep dive into Virify, this system promising to, revolutionize quality control. And I gotta say, even the tech specs you sent are surprisingly fascinating.
What's fascinating to me is how much this, echoes the evolution of any industry, right?
Okay.
We start with the human eye, like incredibly capable but limited in scale and consistency.
Yeah.
Virify represents that next leap, bringing the precision of computers to tasks where even a millimeter off can mean huge losses.
Okay, so for our listener, we're not talking about just sticking a security camera on the factory floor, right? The documents you sent mention Virify using 2D, 3D color grayscale cameras.
Well,
It's way more sophisticated than that, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. A 2D camera is great for spotting a scratch on a surface, like checking if a label is printed correctly.
Okay.
But a 3D camera adds depth perception, so now Virify can see if that label is crooked or if a part is sticking out too far. It's about building a complete picture of quality.
So it's not just seeing, but also understanding what it's looking at.
Exactly. Virify's algorithms are the brains of the operation.
Right.
Imagine a chef with a perfect recipe.
Okay.
But this chef can analyze each ingredient at a molecular level, instantly adjusting if the flour is too humid or the oven temperature is off by a fraction of a degree.
And the documents mentioned Virify doesn't just flag an issue, it actually measures the problem. Like saying a label is off by 10 degrees, not just that it's crooked. Does that level of detail actually make a difference?
Absolutely. That's the difference between reacting to a problem and understanding its root cause.
Okay.
If Virify consistently flags labels as 10 degrees off, it's not just a random error. It's likely a misaligned machine or a worn-out part. That data is gold for optimizing production.
It's like Virify becomes a detective, uncovering hidden clues in those tiny imperfections.
Yeah.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty of how it actually works. The documents mention Virify has 3 levels: historian, data logger, and controller. What's the deal with these levels?
Think of it as a staircase of automation and integration. The historian is your photographic memory. It captures and catalogs every detail. Say you're assembling furniture, those figure-jointed pieces where they glue small bits of wood together.
Right.
With historians, you have a record of each joint, so if one breaks later, you can pinpoint the exact batch, time, even the image of that specific joint during assembly.
No more digging through hours of footage trying to find that one tiny error. Okay, that makes sense. But what about data logger? How is that different?
Data logger takes us from pictures to spreadsheets.
Okay.
Now, alongside the image of that furniture joint, you have precise measurements: the amount of glue applied, the pressure used, the temperature at that moment.
Yeah.
It's not just about seeing the problem. It's about collecting the data to understand why it happened.
And this data can be used to, fine-tune the production process, right?
Exactly. Imagine seeing a trend where boards are slightly warped after a certain time each day. You might discover it's because a machine heats up unevenly after running for a few hours.
Interesting.
Data logger gives you the insights to fix the process, not just the product.
So we've gone from detective to data analyst. And this is where the controller level comes in.
Right.
Making those data-driven decisions in real time.
Precisely. Imagine you're running a packaging line and a box is missing a label.
Okay.
Controller takes that data from data logger and, instead of just flagging it, automatically triggers a mechanism to remove the faulty box from the line. No human intervention needed.
Wow, Virify is going from identifying problems to actually solving them on the fly. That's a huge shift. But this all seems pretty high-tech and maybe even expensive to set up. Are we talking about massive installations only affordable for huge companies?
That's where it gets really interesting. The documents hint at Virify's future being in the cloud and a subscription model. Think software updates, but for quality control, always getting the latest and greatest analysis without needing a whole system overhaul.
So instead of a huge upfront investment, even smaller businesses could access this technology.
Exactly. A more accessible entry point for companies of all sizes.
Okay.
Plus, that cloud connection means Virify can constantly learn and improve.
Right.
Imagine data from all those systems across industries being pooled anonymously to make the algorithms even smarter and more adaptable. It's like having a team of experts constantly fine-tuning your quality control no matter what you're producing.
That's incredible. We started with a crooked label on a paper roll, and now we're talking about a global network of intelligent systems optimizing industries across the board. This is definitely a deep dive with some serious future implications. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at how this technology is actually being used today. The documents you sent mention everything from sawmills to steel mills. What kind of real-world impact is Virify already having?
It's really amazing to think how far Verify's reach already is.
Yeah.
Let's take that sawmill example since you mentioned it.
Okay.
Instead of relying on like a worker to spot a knot in a fast-moving log,
Right.
Virify can analyze its size, shape, and position in real time.
And what happens then? Does it just flag it and someone has to pull that log off the line manually?
Not necessarily.
Mm.
Remember the controller level we talked about? In a sawmill, Virify could trigger diversion, sending that knotty log to a different saw specifically designed to handle those imperfections.
Okay.
This keeps the production line moving smoothly, reduces waste, and gets the most value out of each log.
So it's not just about spotting defects, it's about optimizing the entire process from start to finish.
Right.
What about those massive paper mills?
Yeah.
I imagine quality control is crucial there, given how much material they go through.
Absolutely. Think about those giant rolls of paper used for printing magazines or packaging. Even a tiny hole or tear could mean thousands of wasted sheets.
Yeah.
Virify can scan those rolls at high speed, detecting flaws that would be invisible to the human eye and even more difficult to spot consistently at those speeds.
And this is where those precise measurements come in handy again, right? Knowing the exact size and location of a defect probably helps them salvage more material.
Precisely. Instead of rejecting an entire roll because of a small flaw, they can use Virify's data to cut around it, minimizing waste and saving money. It's about working smarter, not just harder, and data is key to that.
Data seems to be the magic word here. But, all this talk about automation and efficiency makes me think about the human side of things. What happens to the quality control inspectors whose jobs are now being done by Virify?
It's a valid concern,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important to acknowledge that shift in the workforce. But rather than viewing it as replacing humans, I think a more accurate way to frame it is augmenting human capabilities.
So instead of being replaced by robots, those inspectors are being given new tools and new responsibilities.
Exactly. Think about it, managing these complex systems, analyzing the data they generate, and troubleshooting any issues requires a whole new skill set. The inspectors of tomorrow will need to be tech-savvy, analytical, and able to work in tandem with these automated systems.
So it's not just about physical stamina and a keen eye anymore. It's about understanding data algorithms and the inner workings of these advanced systems. It's a whole new ballgame.
And it's not just about the inspectors on the factory floor. Think about the software developers, the data scientists, the engineers who are designing, building, and constantly improving these systems. Virify is creating a whole new ecosystem of jobs and opportunities around this emerging technology.
That's a really interesting point. It's easy to focus on the jobs that might be automated, but often the bigger picture reveals a whole new set of skills and specializations emerging alongside these advancements.
And let's not forget, as industries embrace automation, they become more efficient, more productive, and often more competitive. This can lead to overall economic growth, creating new jobs in other sectors as well. It's a ripple effect.
It's a reminder that progress often brings about unexpected changes and opportunities. Speaking of which, those documents you shared highlighted Virify's move towards a cloud-based subscription model. It's a big shift. What are your thoughts on that strategy, especially given what we've just been discussing about the workforce and accessibility?
It's a brilliant move, in my opinion, and one that speaks to the future of technology in many ways. By making Virify accessible through a subscription model, they're opening up this incredible tool to businesses of all sizes, not just those with massive capital to invest up front.
That makes sense, especially for smaller businesses that might not have the budget for a huge installation or those who want to test the waters before going all in.
Exactly. And it also allows Virify to constantly evolve and improve. By collecting anonymized data from all those systems across different industries, their algorithms become smarter, more adaptable, and even more valuable to each individual user.
It's like having a global network of quality control experts constantly learning and sharing insights, but without anyone having to actually meet in person.
Precisely. And that cloud-based structure makes updates and upgrades seamless. No need for lengthy downtime or expensive on-site visits from technicians. It's all done remotely, ensuring every user has access to the latest and greatest version of Virify.
It's funny how we started with optimizing sawmills, and now we're talking about global networks of intelligent systems. This future Virify, constantly learning and evolving, it's a powerful idea.
Powerful. Yeah, indeed. And with great power, as they say, comes, responsibility to consider the implications. The documents you sent did touch on Virify's potential for bespoke solutions. What kinds of applications are we talking about here?
They were a bit cryptic, weren't they? It almost sounded like they're thinking beyond just factories and production lines.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the immediate applications, but the underlying technology here is incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
Imagine Virify's algorithms being used to analyze, say, medical images, assisting doctors in diagnosing diseases earlier and more accurately.
That's a huge leap from spotting a dent in a steel beam to detecting subtle abnormalities in an X-ray.
Exactly. Or think about agriculture.
Okay.
Virify could analyze crop health, identifying signs of disease or pests before they become widespread, leading to more sustainable farming practices and increased food security.
That's a whole other level of impact. From improving manufacturing to revolutionizing healthcare and agriculture, the possibilities seem kind of endless.
And that's what's so exciting about this technology. As Virify evolves and its capabilities expand, it has the potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges. But it all comes back to using this technology responsibly and thoughtfully.
It's a good reminder that even the most advanced technology is only as good as the intentions behind it.
Precisely. We need to approach these advancements with a balance of excitement and careful consideration, ensuring they, benefit humanity as a whole.
Well said. To our listener, we hope this deep dive into Virify has not only given you a better understanding of this, groundbreaking technology, but also sparked some curiosity about its potential and the future it might shape.
It's been a fascinating journey exploring the intricate workings of automated quality control and its far-reaching implications.
Remember, the most insightful discoveries often lead to even more questions. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and join us again as we take another deep dive into the ever-evolving world of technology.